It's been about 3 weeks since I recorded a video. Wait, actually, that's not true. I recorded a video the day that I left for Barcelona. And I didn't post it because when I edited it and everything. I was at the airport editing and I didn't have a good enough internet connection to actually post it. And then I watched it again and I was like, yeah, I don't know if the internet needs this right now. I am going to keep the internet safe from this video. And I'm never going to mention it again. And now we're going to move on to another topic. Since I haven't posted for a long time, I thought I would just kind of bring the wheel, boop, 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 the wheel back, and also make this a video about a topic dear to my heart, which is extreme introversion and this sense I have of like, am I the only one? Because I know that I'm not, but it seems that I'm experiencing a big delta or a big difference between the way that I operate and how the people around me operate. This is not new in my life. I think that I've generally been quite at odds with how people around me operate, but I'm also at a point where it would be nice to have more people who understood this quirk about me, because it's uncomfortable to try and tell people, and most of the time I just kind of lie and make up stories as to why I'm unavailable, which is not a good thing. I really shouldn't do that. But yeah, I'm not going to weave in human design because I don't want to alienate people, but maybe I'll make another video specifically about my realizations around the need to inform people. Anyway, okay. So extreme introversion, the way that it looks for me is that it has everything to do with this wheel here. The wheel, just to describe it again and explain what it is, the wheel is a mechanism for me to every night take a spin and allow a random number generator to decide how I'm going to spend an hour that evening. And I've added in categories that organize basically a range of creative activities or even like administrative activities. And the reason that it has worked, one of the reasons that I decided to do it, and I believe the reason that it has worked for me so well is because my day job is a very creative job, and therefore I'm making a lot of decisions during the day. And when I get home at night, there isn't really a priority between all of the things that I want to do in the extra time that I have. But I falsely feel the need to decide or prioritize. In other words, I feel the need to kind of assign a goal-like spread to my extracurricular interests. And that just kills the vibe completely, where I get home and I'm like, oof, I don't want to decide. And therefore I just won't do anything, and I'll just like eat a very prolonged dinner and then check my phone and then, I don't know, search for something on YouTube and watch it. And I've felt that I feel that it's become more and more important to me to actually build a practice towards these creative extracurriculars, because if I don't, they're never going to happen, and I will never achieve my dreams of playing the banjo and doing the full splits and like improving calisthenics and, I don't know, working with different softwares and making music and singing and all these things. If I don't actually practice them, they're never going to happen, and they are important to me. So that's what this wheel is about, and that's why I will be spinning it as well. Because initially this channel was all about spinning the wheel and kind of recording, that hour, or maybe just a summary of that hour. But okay, the moving on to introversion and how that fits in. in order for me to feel, or in order for me to even spin that wheel, I have to have my evenings kind of protected. And I work during the days. And so this combination of like evening wheel spinning and working during the day means that I am at home in my studio. I'm either at home or in my studio every single day. And I like that. Like I do not derive so much pleasure from social activities. I would say that a happy middle ground for me is like activity-based social activities. So if someone comes over and wants to make a pair of pants, I love that because I get to help them and use my equipment and also improve my skills. But like going out to meet for coffee or meet for a drink just feels really not so great these days. And I think that this is where I'm highly introverted, because I really don't derive much energy from that. In fact, I feel depleted, and I usually have to recover, and I don't like breaking my routines around making these videos and showing up for this experiment. And who knows how long this will go on, but for the time that it's going on, it's kind of my number one priority. And the days when I've actually spun the wheel, which in the beginning of the channel, it was every single day for like 14 days. I had the best days of my recent history. And I know this because I also track my days in Notion, and I give it a star rating of 0 to 5. And every single day that I made a video, I felt like it was the best day, 5 stars. And then when I stopped making the videos because I had travels, I went to Portugal, and then I came back, and then I had some obligations, and then I went to Barcelona, and then I came back, and then I had some obligations. Like, I didn't think I had a single 5-star day. And so it's pretty clear to me that this is what's giving my life meaning right now. The combination of working on my main thing and then doing this in the evenings. And I've actually, it's a pretty strange thing to have found the formula, and now the question of why I don't apply the formula is much more about my own insecurities around how I come off if I'm extremely, antisocial, or saying, hey, I'm in Berlin, but I just don't want to see anybody and I don't want to do anything. And I don't think many people can really understand that or relate to it. But the beauty of the internet, and the reason that I'm talking so much in this video, is because maybe some of you are like that too. And maybe we should have a support group. I don't know, whatever. Okay, well, that's my spiel. I'm going to spin this wheel now, and let's see what I get after 3 weeks of absence. Oh. Okay. I love blue. I absolutely adore blue. Cloud Embassy. Okay, what is Cloud Embassy? Cloud Embassy is turning my apartment into a magical realm of beauty, which kind of functions as like a gallery space that I live in, so living artwork. And I have not taken any steps towards that, so it means that this evening is going to be dedicated to turning my apartment into a gorgeous cloud embassy. I will go ahead and do that now, and then I will stitch back in some of the things that I get up to. All right. It is 11 p.m. and I recorded the first part of the video at around 7:45 p.m. And in that time I made this artwork, which is, for the time being, a digital collage of physical artworks that I've done. And it was very intuitive and laborious, because I actually thought that I would spend my time maybe like taking first steps to renovate my room, because the idea of Cloud Embassy is to create this kind of gallery, living gallery space, house as an artwork. But instead I I kind of went back into thinking about how, like, I'm not ready to renovate the apartment tonight, but I could definitely start by introducing the idea and kind of seeding my social media with the vibe of Cloud Embassy. And then to get to this place with the illustration, I was just kind of looking through all my reference materials and initially was thinking about, you know, what can I do to create maybe a wall or a sort of display format for how I want the apartment to look. And so I tried a little bit of that, and then I realized that, you know, maybe right now it's still kind of just about gathering the forms that I could use as future reference for how I design things. And I have this feeling of like wanting to create a kind of temple of creativity, wanting to turn my home into a temple of creativity. And so this image came about as kind of maybe the goal. Like, there's a lot going on here, and it's simple, and it tells a story of, yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I'm back on these videos, that again, like, the thing that makes doing something in the evening so rewarding is that if I hadn't rolled that wheel, I would have never made this illustration. And it didn't matter that it took me like 3 hours, which I know is crazy for what it is. But time doesn't matter when you're in the flow. Like, the only thing that matters is when you're not in the flow, and then time passes anyway and nothing happened. And that lesson is something that I've been so stubborn to learn, but I guess age will do that to you. It will kind of make you really reconcile with how you've spent your time. And maybe that's why I'm so introverted these days, because I have done the social thing, and I really want to experience what it's like to create as much as possible and be in the flow as much as possible. And so I am definitely going to make today I'm definitely going to write that today was a 5-star day in my Notion. And maybe I'll share the Notion thing in a future video. But for now, I'm just going to stitch these parts together, call it a day, and hit publish. So yeah, I know this is like a live journal, and that's probably really not interesting, but maybe it'll be an interesting breadcrumb trail when, you know, down the road there's something happens and we can all see the progression. And I know that what I'm investigating here does have a lot of relevance for other people who maybe are wanting to get back in touch with their flow, or maybe even stronger than that, recognizing that flow is kind of the purpose of all of this. All right. Good night. See you later.